Hi, so welcome back to the 748E engine strip down and Thunderbike race engine prep. Following the last video where we've stripped the full engine down, today is going to be a case of stripping both of the heads down to their component form, so should be a relatively straightforward video. I'll do the horizontal head first. And what I'll do is I'll just strip the one and show you some key points through the strip down that are worth bearing in mind. I won't film both because it's just the same thing repeated, so very little value in that. What I'll be doing when I strip them down is two boxes for all of the internal parts, so noted with which head it is so that I can ensure the same parts go back. I'm not going to keep the open and closed shims matched to their respective valves because, as I said in the last video, we're changing the camshafts, so there'll be no benefit to that. I'll have to put the head all back together and take a datum set of clearances anyway, so there's marginal benefit for it. So here we've got the tools that we need to use for today. Hammer, so we can just split the barrel from the head because the gaskets are still sticking. A short and a long 10mm socket so I can get the couple of 10mm nuts off. Ratchet with size 5 hex key. Slide hammer to take out the opening and closer rocker pins. A shim tool so that you can push down the closing shim to remove the split rings that hold it in place. And just a little magnet, which this one handily has a little torch on the end as well, so you can see what's going on. And just so if I drop any of the shims or little split rings, makes it easier to pick it out. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is start taking off all the stuff that's external to the head and not needed. So we'll split the barrel away. We will take off the intake manifold that's only held in by 4 10mm nuts. We'll then take off the oil feed cover and the center oil feed cover. We'll then take off the intake cam cover, and then lastly the exhaust cover, and then I'll just give you another brief on the inside of the engine before we start taking it apart, because there's a couple of little steps you need to do there as well. Right, let's get on with that then. Right, so to get the camshafts out, what I need to do is, because the closing lobe interferes on the opening rocker arm. You see there, it just could come out about 5mm, but it won't go any further. You need to push this rocker arm, to the side. So to do that, we need to take out its pinion arm. Now see that because I've taken the pinion out for the opening rocker, it's fallen to one side. So you can just remove the inlet cam now. The clip that the exhaust camshaft was actually quite difficult to pull out, and it should just be a gentle push fit into here with a little bit of resistance because it's a metal to metal contact. What I found though is that the oil feed that goes into the cover, and let me just grab the cover and you'll see how it's made. So there's a feed that's on one side, you see here, okay. There's a feed that hole should theoretically line up with to ensure that the bearing, you see on the inside of the camshaft there, on its cover, is inside a ball bearing, and likewise on the opposite side has got a roller bearing just in there. So it's oil fed, and this is the gallery that sits on. Interestingly, this one is blocked. There's dirt in there. You see there, just coming out. So, not being kept on top of its maintenance over its life, which is obviously why you strip these things down to check everything out. So, I'll have to be doubly careful on how we do this. So the next piece I need to now do is get all of the remaining rockers out, and you can see in a bit more detail now what we've got in here. So here is the closer rocker, and that's the face on which the camshaft lobe operates, and it goes down and you can see it's physically underneath the valve shim. So this is the closing shim and this is the opening shim that you'll see at the top there. And this is the spring I was talking about. On the race bikes they have a much lighter spring that's quite heavy duty, and that just helps pull this arm up and just assists in the action. But in here you can see opening arm, just put that aside, opening arm, closing arm. So effectively we've got to have a bit of strength to get that to go down, but that pushes down and you can see the operation as it sits there. So next step, let's get all of these rocker pinions out. Obviously I've taken two out so I could pull the camshafts out, and then that will enable us to get all of the rocker arms out. Let's get that done. So now I should be able to take out the shims. So the opener should hopefully just pick up by magnetic force. Push down with a tool against the closing shim. That'll expose the split rings in a groove at the top of the valve. Take those out. And then by releasing the pressure, it brings the closing shim to the top, and you can just remove that. So that's the shims fully removed. Let's do the rest. There we have it, engine fully stripped down. So all the nuts, bolts and everything are in there. Just for those of you interested in a little bit more detail, that is the opening arm, and it's not bad, doesn't have too much wear on it. And this is one of the closing arms of our horizontal parts. Then we've got our cams, and when I get the SP cams out, I'll show you the difference between these, but A is for intake and S is for exhaust, so shows you in a bit more detail there. And if you look in there, there's the support mechanism for the camshaft, so it doesn't use a standard journal like a lot of engines do. It's actually on a roller bearing on this side, and as I said earlier, a ball bearing on the other side, as you can just see down there. Alright, got a dowel stuck in the head. I'll just need to gently take that out. I need to clean this all up. There's a bit of carbon deposit on there. There's a little bit of work there. It's got some dirt inside the engine, so it just needs a really good clean down now. I need to get out the valve guide seals so we can put some new ones in, and the whole head just needs a really good clean. Yeah, the oil ways on this side appear clear, but as we know, on this side we've got this partially blocked one that needs to be cleaned out, so I need a really good check over and clean of the head. Okay, that's us finished the strip down of the horizontal head. I'll do the vertical head. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please click like. If you want to see more, please hit subscribe. We'll be slowly working through putting the engine back together and then building the race bike from scratch, so lots of exciting stuff ahead. So once again, thank you for watching the DesmoWerx channel. See you soon.